While there may be a trend away from women-specific road bikes these days, there are still a few brands that offer race-ready and endurance road bikes with the female rider in mind. But which of these three bikes takes the coveted crown of the 2022 Women's Road Bike of the Year? The roads, lanes and even a few smoother unpaved tracks around Bristol provided our testing grounds, with the bikes being pushed to their limits across the Cotswolds and the Mendips. When it comes to price, this wasn't strictly a fair fight, with price points ranging from £1,749 to nearly £6,000. But to win the Women's Road Bike of the Year, I sought a bike that not only plastered smiles on my face, but also didn't leave me feeling cheated out of my hard-earned cash. Before I crack on with the three bikes, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss any videos from us at BikeRadar. Topping out Cube's alloy Axial WS Race range, the £1,749 bike is the most affordable bike here, built up with Shimano 105 gearing and hydraulic disc brakes. A women-specific saddle from Cube is fitted, and the build is available in a smaller frame size of 47 cm than the unisex equivalent, the Cube Attain SL. The carbon fibre Liv Langma Advanced 1 Plus disc at £3,149 is nearly twice the price. But that brings the WorldTour race-winning platform, as ridden by Liv Racing Xstra and team BikeExchange-Jayco, within the grasp of everyday riders. Liv is the only brand to offer women-specific geometry, based on research into differences between body proportions. Women tend to have proportionally longer legs and shorter torsos in comparison to men, which is accentuated for shorter riders, so Liv's frame geometries are designed to reflect this. At the premium end of the scale, Scott's Contessa Addict RC15 is a race-ready whippet that'll set you back no less than £5,699. The Addict RC is a more aggressive, aero-focused sibling to the Addict endurance bike, while the Contessa naming denotes its women-specific focus. The build boasts all the features you'd expect from a class-topping race bike. Aerodynamically optimised carbon fibre construction, totally integrated cable routing, 12-speed electronic gearing, and a mid-section carbon fibre wheel set. Finishing kit comes courtesy of Scott's in-house component brand Syncross, including a women-specific saddle, which is the only change in the build compared to the unisex equivalent. All three bikes have a carbon fork, and both the Liv and the Scott have carbon fibre frames too. The Cube, on the other hand, uses a 6061 T6 aluminium alloy frame. The Scott uses the brand's patented aerofoil tube design, while the drop seat stays and integrated cables up front help to reduce aerodynamic drag. Hydraulic disc brakes feature on all three bikes, so it's good to see those 12mm through axles as standard to keep them well aligned. If you're keen to fit mudguards for winter riding, then the Cube is your only option from this test. The more race-focused Liv and Scott have decided to omit them. Having said that, the tyre clearance is somewhat limited on the Cube and the Addict, with a maximum tyre clearance of 28mm, while you can fit chunkier rubber on the Langma of up to 32. Due to their slightly different intended uses, the three test bikes feature different geometries. The race-centric Scott puts you in the most aggressive position, while the Cube is more upright, more suited to its endurance focus. The Langma was somewhere in the middle, although I did ride with 35mm of headset spaces, so the front end could certainly be lowered if you wanted a more aero fit. For ease of switching out parts to optimise your fit, it's worth noting that the Cube features totally standard components, such as a round seat post and a standard cockpit. The Liv uses a standard cockpit with an aero seat post, while the Scott features both an aero seat post and a proprietary cockpit with integrated cable routing. So, depending on your level of mechanical confidence, it could be something worth factoring into your decision. All three bikes offer small sizes, suitable for riders from 152cm, but taller riders may have to turn to the unisex bikes for the larger sizes. The components used for each bike are largely proportional to their price tags, and in-house finishing kit is seen throughout. Towards the budget end, the Cube uses standard style alloy parts, including the seat post, stem and bars. In the middle, Liv uses a carbon fibre aero seat post from sibling brand Giant and an alloy cockpit including women-specific handlebar. The Scott features an aero carbon seat post held with a mega light 12-gram proprietary seat clamp and the Syncross Creston IC bar and stem up front. Both the electronic cables and brake hoses enter the carbon fibre handlebar at the shifters and are internally routed, meaning you get a super clean front end. Cleverly, by using splittable headset spacers, you can also easily raise or lower your stem position without being affected by the cables. The sleek cockpit is completed with a seamless stem cap, held in place by magnets. And that is not the last of the snazzy gadgets either, with a magnetic cap on the fork covering the disc brake caliper bolts. Something I noted was both the Liv and the Scott use a 38cm width bar at this size, my usual go-to, whereas the more entry-level Cube uses a slightly wider 40cm option. Drivetrains are all from Shimano, with mechanical 105 on the Cube, mechanical Ultegra on the Liv, except the sneaky inclusion of a 105 cassette, and electronic 12-speed Ultegra Di2 on the Scott. Gearing setup varies across the board, with the widest range from the Cube's compact 50-34 chainset paired with an 11-34 cassette. The Liv setup is racier, with a 52-36 up front and 11-32 on the back. The Scott also uses a compact chainset like the Cube, but this time met with a smaller 11-30 at the back with smaller gaps between the sprockets on the 12-speed setup. We'll get on to how these numbers translate when you're riding in just a minute. To finish off the spec, now we'll take a look at the wheels. And the more you spend, the fancier the wheel set spec is too. Cube uses their own brand wheels, which are a bit of a mouthful, the Cube RA 1.9 Aero disc wheels. These feature Alex rims alloy rims, although they're not tubeless compatible, which is a common compromise at this price point. The Liv rolls on giant SLR2 36 mid-section carbon wheels, and these give a good middle ground between all-out aero wheels and a lightweight climbing wheel with their 36mm rim depth. These have a wide 22.4mm internal rim measurement, which means that the 25mm Giant Course 1 tubeless tyres actually measure up at a fraction over 28mm. Plus, they're set up tubeless as standard. It's worth mentioning here though that these giant wheels feature a hookless rim, said to enhance handling and durability in a more lightweight package. Giant's list of compatible tyre options currently stands at 19, with a few limitations on sizes, which will narrow your tyre choice, no pun intended. Similar to Liv, the Scott runs on Syncross Capital 1.0 35mm deep carbon fibre wheels. Again, a 21mm internal rim diameter is wider than most traditional road wheels, meaning that the 28mm tyres actually measure up at 30mm when fitted. Although the rims are tubeless compatible, disappointingly the tyres supplied are not, so bear that in mind if you're planning on a tubeless setup for your road riding. The rubber comes courtesy of Schwalbe with their popular One Race Guard slicks. And if you're wondering, their tubeless ready equivalent costs £54 each. Now we've got all the specs covered, let's get down to how they ride. As you'd expect for three pretty different bikes, they each had their own character when it came to swinging your leg over and heading off. With such wide-ranging gears, the Cube really shone when it came to the hills. Shimano 105 is really not to be sniffed at, with reliable, precise shifting and confidence-inspiring, powerful hydraulic disc brakes. It might not have been quite as light or responsive as the other bikes on test, but it certainly punched above its weight for a bike at this sub-2K price point. I could really feel the aerodynamic benefit of the Scott when it came to flat, smooth tarmac. It absolutely sailed along with barely any input, maintaining that momentum incredibly well. Alas, as a race bike, it was a bit more conservative on the gearing, albeit with a compact up front, so the steeper climbs were a bit tougher. But those gear changes were immaculate thanks to the Ultegra Di2 setup. The aggressive nature of the fit is certainly something that you have to get used to over time, and it will better suit racier riders more than all-day endurance lovers. Looks might be a personal preference, but the Scott really was a head-turner and attracted lots of comments with its dark, glistening teal paint job. Despite being the middle child, the Liv Langma wowed with all-round performance. Sprightly, agile and comfortable, the Langma is the kind of bike which you can head out on all day, over the hills, down the valley floors and even throw in a little bit of rough stuff and still come away with a smile on your face. The slender, lightweight build eggs you on to razz up the hills, while powerful hydraulic braking allows you to corner predictably and descend with ease. The only downside for me was the gearing setup, with the 52-36 chainset better suited to speed on flatter courses rather than bigger, steeper hills or mountains. It's a curious decision as the Langma was originally designed as a climbing bike and only more recently refined with aero features to make it more of an all-rounder. If it's smaller gears that you're looking for, then the more endurance-focused Liv Avail will certainly tick that box. But who takes the win and why? With a great value spec for the mid-range price, supremely comfortable over long days in the saddle without compromising on speed or climbing performance, the Liv Langma Advanced 1 Plus disc was the clear winner on test and is crowned our 2022 Women's Road Bike of the Year. It really was hard to find the downsides, with the non-series 105 cassette adding a little extra weight and the excess cable length. On a personal note, if it were my bike, I'd probably switch out for a compact chain set, but that really depends on your ability and what kind of terrain you're riding on. So there you have it, your 2022 Women's Road Bike of the Year. While not taking the top step, the Cube and Scott are still great options, more suited to entry-level and premium budgets. But what would be your winner? Let us know in the comments. And let me know if you'd like to see some more women-specific content on the channel too. If you like this video, then do give it a thumbs up, subscribe and click the little bell icon so you know when we post a new video. And if you're looking for more Bike of the Year videos, then why not watch this one?